Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you call fans, Jesse. Good evening, everyone. As President Trump threatens massive tariffs on alcohol from the EU, consumers are loading up on booze. In a related story, guess who just rented a tractor trailer? According to Trump, Hunter Biden had 18 Secret Service agents paid for by U.S. taxpayers, all for his protection. Wow, who knew you needed 18 Secret Service agents to put on a condom? The U.S. postal worker funded a lavish lifestyle at strip clubs by stealing $1.6 million in checks from the mail. He first aroused suspicion when he tipped a stripper by stuffing a Pottery Barn catalog into her G-string. CBS News is now complaining that those Venezuelan gang members were deported under the Alien Enemies Act, even though it's, quote, a centuries-old law. What's wrong with centuries old? Asked one woman. Don Lemon said he was sexually harassed by a female coworker at CNN who even tweaked his nipples. I believe we have a picture of the harasser. Doesn't fool me. According to new reports, the Mexican cartels are smuggling drugs into the U.S. inside cattle. I don't know about you, but I feel bad for the guy who actually has to put the drugs inside those cows. A CNN poll found only 29% of Americans view Democrats in a favorable light. 54% viewed them in an unfavorable light, and 100% prefer to view Rashida Tlaib in no light. A convicted fentanyl dealer was seen crying as she was nabbed by ICE. She was especially upset when she found out that ICE wasn't followed by the word cream. Because she's fat. And finally, in Germany, a parade of nearly 900 Datsuns set a new world record. Guinness Book said they hadn't seen that many wieners in one place since Don Lemon's bachelor party. I guess it's the start. We're going to talk about the space, the wonderful space achievement later in the show. But let's do a monologue. Excuse me. It's official, the Democratic Party's popularity is deeper in the toilet than a bulimic's breakfast.
Oof, Jesus. My God.
They haven't been this despised since they forced brown people from other countries to do their labor, which they still do, except now they call them landscapers. According to a new CNN poll, and this is CNN, mind you, the Democrat Party's favorability among the American public is 29%. 29%. That's shocking. But even more shocking, CNN can still afford a pollster. Even among Dems and independents, their favorable view of Democrats right now is down 9% since January, which is a pretty mild drop, given the Dems are for absolutely nothing good while defending everything bad. So all they can do is cry, scream, sing, and smear people. Frankly, I am so tired of the way they use the N-word.
What?
Nazi this, Nazi that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nazi on signs, Nazi spray painted on businesses. If they keep normalizing that horrible word, people are going to start greeting each other on the street with, "What up, my Nazi?"
Nothing. Oh, he said Nazi. Oh. Sorry, not me.
And yet, a majority of Democrats say their congressmen should oppose Trump no matter what, even if it keeps them from getting the things they claim they want. I think that's called cutting off your nose to spite your face, or what Pelosi's plastic surgeon calls the number 6. No wonder they're less popular than Leah Thomas at a gynecologist. Let's run through their greatest hits. They defended dudes in girls' locker rooms. They defended the brainwashing and butchery of kids. They condemned the deportation of rapists and thugs from other countries. They condemned the ending of government waste, fraud, and abuse. That's just 4 things off the top of my head, and you wonder why the Democrats aren't more popular? Compare that to the sickening things Trump has done in the last month. Close the border, that's terrible. Deporting rapists and thugs, awful. Rescuing astronauts, repulsive. Creating a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, fascist. Getting hostages back from Hamas, appalling. Truly, this guy sucks. If you're the bad guy. Now, disagreement is normal among opposing parties, but the Dems only complain about the things Trump might do, while Trump and the rest of us point out what the Dems have already done. Dems call Trump a threat to democracy. Great, fine. But where is this magical threat to democracy that you speak of? Meanwhile, everything the Dems do is seen by every single American. The murders and rapes by illegal thugs, sanctuary cities turning hotels into criminal clubhouses, the Hamas support on campuses, the no-cash bail that heightened criminal recidivism, mass looting in stores after reducing severity of punishment. None of this is defined as what the Democrats might do. It's what the Democrats did. It's why you have to fight them on every issue, because if they get their way, Americans get hurt. But if Trump has his way, oddly, it's what Americans want. But some Dems are too stupid to know any better. Ooh. Don Lemon went on... Thank you. It's how you use a swear word. Don Lemon went on Bill Maher's podcast and gave the Dems some advice that only he could give.
People love AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell. And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy that
they're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with are.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know homeless people partied.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Even Bill Maher isn't high enough to believe that. Meanwhile, one Democrat is making some sense. I wonder, does Massachusetts Rep. Seth Moulton think the Democrats have become a party of people who preach down to others?
We've become a party of people who preach down to others, who scold them, who say, if you don't agree with me, you're not only wrong, but you're a bad person.
Oh, that sounds so good. It's weird, though. Isn't there another Seth Moulton who said, not only is Trump racist, he's a threat to our national security? We must have 2 Seth Moultons, one saying one thing and one saying the other. They're both dorks. But hey, does he think they need to stop preaching and start listening?
I think we need to stop preaching and start listening. Start meeting Americans where they are.
I agree, Seth. Now tell that to the other Seth Moulton, who said Donald Trump is a racist and a criminal. I wonder, can you be a majority party if you don't accept a majority of views?
You can't be a majority party if you don't accept a majority of views.
Well, Seth, I hate to break it to you. The majority view is that the Democrats suck. So how do you solve a problem when you are the problem? You're like a guy getting dumped who says, but I can change, but it's too late. You should have changed when you saw the harm you were causing and not waited until you lost. Because now America's started seeing other people, and they aren't bat crazy. Let's welcome tonight's guest. His kids watch the Menendez Brothers show for ideas. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. His online trolling keeps fans scrolling. Host of the great You're Welcome podcast, author of The White Pill, Michael Mallett. She's easy on the eyes and murder on the ears. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Campagno. And finally, he's like a chairlift. Old ladies love to go up and down on him. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. Jamie, a nice question for you. Does the Democrats' favorability plummeting remind you of how your awful marriage imploded and your terrible career falling apart and your non-existent relationship with your kids?
That is, it did. That is a lot. That is a lot all at once. Yeah, that space landing actually reminded me of my career. I go, hey, that's the trajectory right there. The approval rating, I honestly don't think it's that bad. It's 29%, which is exactly 29% higher than my approval rating in my marriage. And but they just asked one bitch what she thought. But can I just take a moment and just, Don Lemon, can we just,
Yes.
Can we be done with Don Lemon? My dad used to always tell me, he's like, when life gives you lemon, you change the channel. That guy sucks. Why are we still, I mean, I appreciate Mar having a mom, but it's like he went from being on TV, right, being an anchor, to sort of being a co-anchor, to then being on a podcast. I believe the next step is just speaking loudly on the subway.
Yes.
That's what he will do next. I feel like the lemon law, like the lemon law, like cars. I feel like the lemon law should apply to Don Lemon. You know what I mean? Like it looks good at first, and you go home and you go, "This thing's a piece of."
Yeah, you don't want to get inside it because it could be dangerous. People will be rear-ending you left and right.
Hey, there's a couple other guys in here.
Michael Malice, finally you're back. Good to see you.
Thanks so much, Greg.
Yes. Do you believe that the demise of the Democrats is premature? Am I jumping the gun here?
This isn't even the first. I'm sorry to be the guy who's going to ruin the party, but I'm going to be the guy who ruins the party. This isn't even the first quarter of Trump's presidency. The Democratic Party is the oldest political party on earth, and you don't last that long unless you're doing something right. And what they know how to do is to seize and maintain power. This is a temporary thing. A lot of things Trump are doing are great, but it's only going to be a matter of time till they regroup and put someone forward who's going to do something smarter for them. They have the universities, they have the corporate press. This idea that you only, air quotes, have 217 House seats and you're done is just crazy to me.
You know, I like that you say that because you don't want to get cocky and you don't want, everybody says they're finished and then they regroup like the Terminator in Terminator 2.
You know who said they were finished?
Who?
In 1996, Rush Limbaugh's second book came out, and he said, this is the death knell of liberalism. We're seeing the end of the Democratic Party. And then you had, 12 years later, Obama with supermajorities in both houses. They're very, very smart. And here's the thing I think conservatives don't appreciate. They will throw whoever they need to under the bus as long as it serves them power. In 2004, when John Kerry was running against George Bush for a second term, do you know what Bill Clinton told him to do? Run against gay marriage.
Yes.
So they don't care about any single group. And you see this in Britain, where the party is called Labour. And as soon as people who are in unions start voting for the Tories, they're called Nazis, white supremacists, and all these other things. So they're very dangerous. And again, they're the consequence of the universities and the media. So even if you're having a hold in D.C., you're still worrying about Cambridge and all these, New Haven, all these other places.
You are such an adorable wet blanket.
But you know what? There's a fire, and someone should be putting out this wet blanket instead of sitting around and thinking it's a birthday cake.
No, you're absolutely right, even though it was very mean-spirited. Emily, I guess the Dems are saying you should fight Trump harder. That's their solution. You got to fight him harder. It seems to me that they'd rather do that than actually come up with solutions for various issues.
Well, that's the whole thing. And I think the Seth Moulton clip really lays out exactly the hypocrisy, where if they say things are existential, if climate change is existential, if President Trump is existential to this country, then why would they flip? For example, let's take Senator Mark Kelly. We talked about him last night, right? If climate change was so important that he had to drive that electric car, then why then would he go to diesel? The whole point is they exchange their values that they had in the moment for the resistance because they hate Trump more than they were committed to any value to begin with. When you talk about the age of the Democrat Party, too, that just terrifies me because I think about the Volturi and the Illuminati and all of these things that essentially have been so baked into the fabric of our earth and beyond that there's no way they're going to. This is a temporary death. And the resurrection is what might be more frightening. So I think right now, to your point, we are absolutely crowing because for once, power has been restored to the hands of the American people. But you're right that the level of fear and hatred and scorn coming out of the left now, especially since it's at the hands of who they deem to be traitors, people like Tulsi Gabbard and Elon Musk and even President Trump, who used to be Democrats. What are they going to do now? They're going to rise bigger and better and badder and more frightening. But that's why this dismantling chapter is so important. We have to make it so permanent, so indestructible that they can't surmount that. But I'm not sure how to do that quite yet.
All right. Well,
everyone
thank you,
knows.
Emily, for that very powerful. What up, my Nazi?
I don't know. You tell me, my.
Oh, that's our word.
Waiting his whole white life for that.
Wow.
I don't even have a question.
The Democratic Party's not going anywhere because we only have two options.
Yeah.
So even doesn't matter. We've been around forever. Yeah, because both parties do a good job of keeping a third party out.
Right.
So you won't see any. So what they do is every once in a while they change their face. So Democratic Party was overtaken by activists and wannabe terrorists. Because it's funny because and this is the difference between the two parties. When Republicans are losing and being attacked, i.e. when Facebook was taking everything you say, your rights away, when if you said the wrong thing, you lost your job, there was no reports of any of Facebook's buildings being burnt down or their windows being smashed in or any of his various businesses being attacked because that's not how we do things. We typically, with extreme cases, we believe in the Constitution and we'll protest or whatever. Even that, we're busy because we work. Mm-hmm. That we work jobs and we have investments and we want to own property and we were chasing the American dream. So there's not a lot from the right in terms of attacking, whereas the left, they count on the people that they keep down, that they convince that it's coming, and the reason why is not because we're screwing you over, because all they really care about is being reelected.
Right.
That's all it's about. So they continue to give scraps to the group that will do their bidding. Every one of those people that are going out and burning the Telsas and all that stuff, they think they're martyrs. They think they're heroes because of the messaging. But yet when they get arrested, there's no one in the Democratic Party that's going to, there'll be some pundits on TV that'll say, oh, they want to talk about it, but they're not going to save them. They don't mind sacrificing a few lambs for the overall good. That's when it comes down to one group can control all this. It's the American people. Don't vote for somebody who supports people who blow buildings up and attack when things don't go their way. It should be very basic.
Amen. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.